5 More Little Known Massacres. Before we start, I would like you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Court Climate. 5. Battle of Wyoming, 1778. One of the most brutal raids of the American Revolution, a loyalist Iroquois coalition massacred more than 200 unsuspecting patriot militiamen. Having raided and scorched dozens of frontier towns in upstate New York and Pennsylvania, the British arrived in Wyoming Valley, Pennsylvania, on July 3. The Patriots, inexperienced and outnumbered, were ambushed and subsequently routed following a 45-minute close combat battle. As the Patriot line crumbled, the Iroquois began brutally hunting down survivors. Only 60 Americans survived to see another day, and only 5 were taken prisoner. Fleeing soldiers who had surrendered were tortured to death by Loyalists and Iroquois. It was reported that 227 Patriot scalps were collected. Dozens of bodies were found on the line of retreat, which were all buried in a common grave. In retaliation, the Sullivan Expedition, commissioned by General George Washington, systematically destroyed at least 40 Iroquois villages throughout upstate New York in 1779. 4. The Auspicious Incident, 1826. The Auspicious Incident was the forced disbandment of the centuries-old Janissary Corps by Ottoman Sultan Mahmud II, who felt that the elite guard unit had acquired too much power and influence over the declining Ottoman Empire. Mahmud incited the Janissaries to revolt on purpose, in order to give reason in destroying them. Mahmud said that he was creating a new army, made up of mostly Turks, as the Janissaries were Christians from conquered countries, who were later converted to Islam. Thus, as predicted, they mutinied, advancing on the Sultan's palace. In the ensuing fight, the Janissary barracks were bombarded and obliterated by artillery fire, resulting in 4,000 Janissary fatalities. More were killed in the heavy fighting on the streets of Constantinople. The survivors either fled or were executed, and their possessions were confiscated by the Sultan. 3. Bad Axe in the Black Hawk War, 1832. The Sauk chief, Black Hawk, was unhappy with the deal the United States made with his people for their land. Angered by the loss of his birthplace, Black Hawk led a number of incursions across the Mississippi River into Illinois, during 1830 and 1831, but each time was persuaded to return west without bloodshed. In April 1832, encouraged by promises of alliance with other tribes and the British, he again moved his so-called British band of around 1,000 warriors and non-combatants into Illinois. Finding no allies, he attempted to return across the Mississippi to present-day Iowa again, but the undisciplined Illinois militia's actions led to Black Hawk's surprising victory at the Battle of Stillman's Run. A number of other engagements followed, and the militia of Michigan Territory and the state of Illinois were mobilized to hunt down Black Hawk's band. The conflict became known as the Black Hawk War. The Battle of Bad Axe followed the Battle of Wisconsin Heights and was the final battle of the Black Hawk War. Women and children fled the fight into the river, where many drowned immediately. 2. Luxor Massacre, 1997. The attack is thought to have been instigated by exiled leaders of Al-Ghama'ah al-Islamiyah, an Egyptian Islamist organization, attempting to undermine the July 1997 nonviolence initiative, devastate the Egyptian economy and provoke the government into repression that would strengthen support for anti-government forces. The Islamic group was against a secular Egypt, and desired to establish an Islamic state in its place. They also demanded the release of their leader, cleric Sheikh Omar Abdul Rahman, imprisoned in the United States for conspiracy in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing in New York. The 6 assailants were armed with automatic firearms and knives, and disguised as members of the security forces. They descended on the Temple of Hatshepsut and would ultimately take the lives of 62 tourists. With the tourists trapped inside the temple, the killing went on systematically for 45 minutes, during which many bodies, especially of women, were mutilated with machetes. A note praising Islam was found inside one disemboweled body. 1. Ugandan Cult Murders, 2000. Credonia Mwerinde was the high priestess and co-founder of the Movement for the Restoration of the Ten Commandments of God, a sect that splintered from the Roman Catholic Church in Uganda. Mwerinde and Joseph Kibwetir claimed to have witnessed visions of the Virgin Mary. With the new millennium looming, activity by movement members became frenzied. Their leaders urged them to confess their sins in preparation for the apocalypse. January 1, 2000, passed without the advent of the apocalypse, and the movement began to unravel. Another date was immediately predicted. March 17 was the new end of the world. When that date came around, over 500 members entered a church in western Uganda and began singing. Hours later, the building was set on fire, with the doors locked and the windows boarded up and nailed shut. Everyone inside was incinerated, including 11 children. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen, because I'm sure you'll love them.